Training and development is the topic for discussion. It is from the module 3 as per the VTS syllabus, part 4. It is management and organizational behavior, the subject for the first SEM, MBA, video. Next is HR planning. Human resource planning, the process of getting the right number of the qualified people into the right job at right time. Next is heading objectives of the HR planning. HR planning is required to meet the following objectives. First one is the forecast and the personal requirement. Forecast the personal requirement. That means HR planning is essential to determine the future manpower needs in an organization. We have to forecast next year how many employees are required for our this much amount of the production of our company. In the absence of such a plan, what will happen? It would be difficult to have the services of the right kind of people at the right time. If forecasting is not there, if you without planning, you didn't recruit the people at the right time, then at the edge of the point, you'll not get the right people for the right jobs. And the problem you may face without planning. Next objective of HR planning is cope with the changes. How should we cope with the change? Let's see. HR planning is required to cope with the changes in the market conditions, changes in the market demand and the supply, technology products. Now everywhere is software is entering in every organization, IT department will be there. So it is changing the way of handling the ledgers and way of handling the technology is invading everywhere. And government regulations, yeah, which government is coming, this election is winning, also affects the business. Therefore, it affects the HR planning, that is human resource planning. These changes may often require the service of the people having requisite technical knowledge and training. In absence of a manpower plan, we may not be in position to enlist their service in time. Third point is use the existing manpower. Third one, how to use the existing manpower, why it is required. By keeping an inventory in existing personnel in an enterprise by skills levels, training, educational qualifications, work experience, it will be possible to utilize the existing resources more usefully in relation to the job requirements. You should keep record of everything, the technical skills, their levels, and the training, education, qualification, work experience of every employee should be kept a record and should be observed so that we can utilize the employees from the organization only for to meet the requirements, job requirements. This is also helps in decreasing the wage and salary cost in long run, right? Next, the fourth point here is objective of HR planning is promotes the employees in systematic manner. How? The manpower planning provides useful information on the basis of which management decides on the promotion of eligible personnel in the organization. In absence of manpower plan, it may be difficult to ensure regular promotions to competent people on a justifiable basis. Okay? If it is not justifiable, then employees get demotivated to work. So keeping track of all employees' records such as their qualifications, their experience, their hard works, their achievements, record of all these is very important. That is the objective of the HR planning. Next is importance of the HR planning, that is benefits of the HR planning. First point is reservoir of the talent. What it does, if we have HR planning, then we can reservoir of the talents. The organization can have a reservoir of the talent at any point to the time. People with requisite skills are readily available to carry out the assigned tasks. Second point is prepare for the future. How? Prepare for the future. People can be trained, motivated, and developed in advance, and this helps in meeting future needs for high quality employees quite easily. Likewise, manpower shortages can also be met comfortably when people quit the organization for various reasons. If within the organization we have a planning that we know that which people are skilled and suitable for this job, we can shift the people from that to this. So the proper human resource planning, right? Third point is expand and contract. If the organization wants to expand its scale of operation, it can go ahead easily. Advanced planning ensures continuous supply of the people with requisite skills who can handle challenging jobs easily. If if it want to expand or a contract, it should have a human resource planning in advance. So how many people are retiring this year? They should keep track of that in advance. Only they should hire some people to replace that vacancy. And how many, if it is expanding, new jobs are created there to fill those vacancies. They should have the proper HR planning to recruit the right kind of a people. So next point is cutting costs. In business everywhere, cutting cost is there. Planning facilities, the preparation of an appropriate manpower budget for each department or division. This is turn helps in controlling manpower cost by avoiding shortages, excess in manpower supply. The physical facilities such as canteen, quarters, school, medical help, etc. can also be planned in advance. Succession planning, yes. Human resource planning, as pointed out previously, prepares people for future challenges. The stars can be picked up and kept ready for further promotions whenever they rise. All multinational companies, for example, have it's a policy for having a hot list of promising candidates, that is, potential employees, prepared in advance. Such candidates are rolled over various jobs and assisted continuously. When the time comes, such people switch hats quickly and replace the respective bosses without any problem. Yeah, succession, the boss should prepare his successor. They'll keep a list of the who are capable of and asking the boss only who are the subordinates working under him. He should specify that this person is suitable as a successor. If he quits this organization, he should mention the successor who is capable of um, replacing his position. Next is the process of HR planning. Here, process of HR planning has four main parts here. First is forecasting the demand for human resources. Second is preparing manpower inventory, determining manpower gap. Third one, fourth one is formulating the manpower plan. Let's discuss the first point here, forecasting the demand for the human resources. The most firms estimate how many employees they would require in future. That is forecasting. The demand for human talent at various levels is primarily due to the following factors. Why this um, forecasting demand for the humans arise is the first point is external challenges. External challenges, the most firms estimate how many employees they would require in future. The minimum demand for human talent at various levels is primarily due to first one is external challenges. In external challenges, these are the factors. Economic developments. This is one of the external challenge. Liberalization, opening of the banking sectors, capital market reforms, online trading systems have created many um, job openings in banking sector. Next, second point is political, legal, social, and technical changes. These changes affects the this is external change out of the organizations. It affects the HR planning and it gives helps in it is the point to be considered in forecasting the demand of the human resources. That is, the demand for certain categories of the employees and skills is also influenced by changes in political, legal, social structures in economy. Likewise, firms employing latest technology in construction, power, automobiles, software, etc., have greatly enhanced the worth of technicians and engineers during the last couple of years. Technology, however, is double-edged weapon. Yeah, it is helpful also. Sometimes it hinders the some of the traditionally going on suppliers would have to shut down or lock down their mm, traditional methods and they should cope up with the new changes, otherwise they can't survive, they have to lock down otherwise. Hence, its impact on the HR plans is difficult to predict. For example, computerization program in the banks, railways, and post and telegraph departments may reduce demand in one department, that is bookkeeping department. So, if every year the bank is purchasing the ledger books from a particular company who is manufacturing the ledger books, those factories, those who are producing the ledger books or the paper industries may get affected by this computerization. New jobs are created, new opportunities are created, but the old opportunities, the traditional method following is to be closed down, while increasing another, such as the computer operations. While technology will, with all its attendant benefits, may compel organizations to go lean and downsize the workforce suddenly. So these paper industries get affected by this computerization. One way it is creating opportunities, and another way it is hindering the other opportunities. Employment planning under such a situations becomes complicated. Then third point is the competition. Companies operating in the fields where large number of the players are bent upon cutting each other's throat, right? Often reduce their workforce. Competition is beneficial to customers but suicidal for the companies operating on the thin margins. Such companies have to necessarily go lean by reducing their workforce. Vita, Philips, Tixo, uh, HLL, Procter and Gamble, Cipla, Ramboxy will always look for the people with the critical skills. That means critical skills means at the critical point of the time they should work smartly. Such kind of the people they'll hire. Now the competition is over organizational decisions. It also affects, it is the external factor that is affecting the HR planning. Organizational decisions, their strategic plan, sales and production, and forecast and new ventures must all be taken into account in the employment planning. If Britannia Industries Limited expects higher demand for biscuits and bread, the long-term HR plan must take this into consideration. Likewise, if it tries to venture into the other lucrative fields such as milk-based products, confectionery items, and demand for the people processing requisite skills uh, also rises. When organization want to expand beyond its basic productions and it want to produce the new products, then new employees with the new skills are required. They should be hired before starting that company. That HR planning should be done. Next is workforce factors. Next point is workforce factors. The demand is modified by the retirements, termination, and registrations, deaths, and leaves of absence. These are all the points. Workforce factors. The past experience, however, makes the rate of occurrence of these actions by the employees fairly predictable. It is not predictable. Your retirements can be predictable, but the employee turnover, employees leaving the organizations, and we cannot predict that. If leaves, we have to hire the new employee. Next is the forecasting techniques. How this technique affects the HR planning. There are two types of the forecast. Manpower forecasting techniques are given below. The forecasting techniques are of two types: expert forecast and trend analysis. In experts will give the forecasting. Managers estimate future human resource requirements, their experiences and judgments to good effect. Then the trend analysis. Depending on as the trend changes, HR needs can be estimated by projecting past trends. Past rates of the change can be projected into future. Employment growth can be estimated by its relationship with a particular index. Forecasting techniques is over. Next, the in other methods are several mathematical models are used with the aid of the computer also used to forecast HR needs, that is regression, optimization models, budget and planning analysis. There are three steps applied in respect of the uh, human resource planning. That is, first one is workforce analysis. What is workforce analysis? The average loss of the manpower due to leave, retirement, death, transfer, discharge, etc. during last 5 years may be taken into account. Rate of absenteeism, Labor turnover should also be taken into account. The nature of competition, say from the foreign banks or other non-banking financial institutions, may also be considered here to find out actual requirements in a year. While some of the internal changes and external supply can be predicted, that is growth opportunities, promotions, transfers, retirements, these can be predicted. Some things are non-predicted. Workload analysis. So depending on the workload, how many employees are needed, it can be forecasted. Um, the need for manpower is also determined on the basis of the workload analysis, wherein companies tries to calculate number of persons required for various jobs with reference to the planned output after giving the weightage to the factors such as absenteeism, idle time, and following example would throw light on this. Next is, for example, planned output for the year is if they want to produce 10,000 pieces, then standard hours per piece is 3 hours, then total hours required for requirement of the work is 30 hours. One man cannot work 30,000 work hours. So how many employees are required? Hours per person per year is calculated 1000 hours per person uh, is calculated. So number of the workers required is the 30,000 by 1000 is 30. 30 employees per year is required. Like this, the workforce workload analysis is done. Depending on this, they'll make a list how many employees are required this year. Next is the job analysis. Job analysis helps in finding out the, simply we cannot hire the employees or the human beings. That's we need to analyze the job. What kind of the job it is to be performed by how many number of the people, then what are the skills and abilities required to do the jobs effectively. In detailed study of the jobs is usually made to identify the qualifications and experience required for them. Job analysis includes two things: job description and job specification. There is difference between job description and job specification. Job description is, what is that job? Is a factual statement of duties and responsibilities of specific job. What that job is going to give. It gives an indication of what is to be done, how it is to be done, why it is to be done, that job. And job specification provides the information on the human attributes. What are the skills, education, aptitude, and experience necessary to perform the job effectively. This is these are all the other methods required for forecasting the demand for the human resources. This is the first point is covered. Now we'll move on to the second point here, preparing the manpower inventory. That is supply forecasting. Preparing the supply of the forecasting the manpower inventory. There are two sources in manpower inventory. We have to keep the people in the organization, that is inventory. Top employee turnover, moving out of the organizations of the employee should be reduced. This will benefit the organization. There are two sources: internal sources and the external sources. What are the internal sources? The profile of the employees in terms of the age, sex, education, training, experience, job level, past performance, future potential should be kept ready for use whenever required. If new opening at the higher level is required, then we have to see at the level one level downwards that how many people are eligible for that position within the organization. First, to to decide this, we should have a list of all the skills and their potential. We have to keep record of everything of the every employee. The requirements in terms of the growth, diversification, and internal movement of the employees, internal transfers. The level is same, salary is same, no need to give them a higher salary, but the departmental changes are done and promotions are done, retirement is done. Then when retirement happens, so then before retirement, if it is a higher position, if the CEO is getting retired in 2 years, then before 2 years only they should hire the replacement and train him before he leaves the organization. Then possibilities of absenteeism and turnover should be kept in mind while preparing the workforce analysis. Yeah, how many people are moving out of the organization this year? We have to forecast this. Through the replacement charts and succession plans, the organization can even find out the approximate dates by which the important positions may fall vacant. Right? This year, how many people are getting retired this year? Depending on that, we can forecast this and recruit the people. External sources are, for example, Bank grows rapidly and diversifies into newer areas of the operation. That is market banking, capital marketing operations, mutual funds. Then it is not able to find the people internally to fill the vacancies. So they have to go for outside and search the people who are capable of doing that job and hire them. There is external source. Within the organization will not get immediately so many number of the employees if it is extending its business. Next, third point is determining the manpower gap. Third point. What is gap? Manpower gap. The existing number of the personnel and their skills from the manpower inventory are compared with the forecasted manpower needs. So demand forecasting. That is from the manpower inventory. How many employees are currently working in your organization and their skills and capabilities and their potential. It's kept record and it is compared with next year. If we are extending the business, how many employees are required? They have to determine the gap and fill that gap quantitatively and qualitatively. That means quantitatively means how many number of employees are required to do that job, and qualitative means what are the skills are required to do that job. That is the human factors. Number of the people recruited and made redundant as the case may be in the form of the basis of preparing manpower plan. Okay, determining manpower plan is over determining the manpower gap. Next, fourth point is formulating the manpower plan. How to formulate the manpower plan? Organizations operate in changing environment constantly. Manpower needs also change continuously, right? The changes in the product mix, union agreements, competitive actions are some of the important things that need social attention. Human resource requirements identified along the procedure outlined in the above table need to be translated into concrete manpower plan, backed up by the detailed policies, programs, strategies for recruitment, selection, training, promotion, retirement, and replacement. We have to formulate the manpower plan step by step. This will help in the process of this is a last step of the HR planning. So end of this discussion HR planning. Thank you. If you like the channel, subscribe please.